Hello there, my rising masters of the game. Yes, you. You're starting to see the world change. The ones who used to act like you were invisible, they're watching now. The stars, the bosses, the leaders, the famous crowd, suddenly they're moving around you like you're wearing a crown they can't see, but can totally sense. And you're sitting there thinking, how did I get here? How is this real? I have the powerful people wondering who I am. Let me explain it slowly so your heart can handle it. Because this wasn't a mistake. This wasn't luck. This was a change you made deep inside your soul. Recall the pain of the old you, right? When you were starving for a kind word. Texting back fast to people who ignored you. Changing who you were like a costume, just to stay in a room that wasn't even good enough for you. You smiled when you weren't happy. You praised people who didn't care about you. You stayed quiet, hid your light, acted small, kept it safe, and they still walked over you, left you out, treated you like background noise. You thought you were the problem. You thought you weren't enough. Sweet. Here is the truth, my friend. Nothing was wrong with you. You were just using the wrong voice. See, the giants, the ones who think they own the world, they don't value begging. They don't look at the needy. They don't care about please like me. They care about wait. They look at someone who walks in and doesn't need a single thing from them. The second you quit the chase, the second you snapped and said, I am done being a pet, that is when the magic began. You didn't light a fire. You didn't pray in tongues. You did something deeper. You took your life back. You stopped talking so much. You stopped trying to explain your heart to people who wanted to hate you. You stopped acting for a crowd that never paid to see you. Instead, you started doing the hard, lonely, scary work, living with your own soul, looking at your face and not turning away, admitting, I have been my own enemy for years. That's when the universe noticed you, by the way. Not when you showed off. Not when you bragged. Not when you tried to look rich. They saw you when you got still. You stopped bowing to money and started loving yourself. You stopped chasing wins and started becoming the winner that wins chase after. You went from please let me in to if this door stays shut, I'll build my own palace. That change, that is when the world began to taste different. One morning you woke up and your phone was different. The very people who used to ghost you, suddenly, they're sending hey texts. The ones who were always busy, suddenly they want your time. The ones who used to talk over you now ask, what do you think? It's weird, isn't it? Feels like magic. Feels like a secret deal was signed while you slept. You're half waiting for the world to send you a letter explaining how this all worked. Let me tell you, powerful people follow anyone who owns what money can't buy. They can buy luxury, they can buy fame, they can buy fans, outfits, planes, tables, invites, but they can't buy honor, guts, truth, or the strength to not blink when they show off. They can't buy that I've been to hell and your words mean nothing to me. Look, you earned that look. You earned it when you wept and still stood up. You earned it when you were poor and still knew your value was high. You earned it when you had every reason to quit and you didn't. That's when the wealth started to find you. Not ghosts, but paths and signs. We call them luck because we're afraid to say we called them to us. Suddenly, the right things found you. The perfect video, the right book, the best words at the perfect time. That person you met by chance. You follow a path. You take it. It leads to talent. That talent leads to worth. That worth brings eyes. And not just any eyes, the right eyes. People who are at the top can smell value like a predator smells prey. But the moment they saw you, didn't smell like you needed them. You became a mystery. You stopped saying, please choose me, and started saying, I am making something. If you like it, great. If not, keep moving. That is the sound of strength. That is when the world started turning. Because now you aren't begging for a seat at their table. You're sitting at your own table, eating your dreams for breakfast. You aren't showing every step. You're moving in the dark. You aren't talking about the grind. You're too busy doing the grind. True talk, they aren't watching because they love you. They're watching because they need you. Not knowing what you'll do next makes them crazy. You became a puzzle they can't solve. You aren't chasing fame. You aren't asking if you're good enough. You aren't scared of their names, their jobs, or their cash. They are confused, curious, scared. And scared people either try to break you or they follow you to stay safe. You are seeing the following. Now, let's talk about the chains. Yeah, everyone talks about being a master like it's just a look, like it's all smoke dark suits and secret codes. No, the chains are feelings, thoughts, invisible. There are 4 main chains. 1, praise. 2, fear. 3, time. 4, secrets. When you were a slave, people pulled your praise chain. 1 nice word, you'd jump. 1 mean word, you'd fall apart. They broke plans, you cried. They didn't text back, you panicked. Someone unfollowed you, you hated your whole life. Now, you tore that chain out. You stopped letting other people's moods decide if you're worth it. You looked at yourself and said, maybe I'm not for everyone. So what? I'm not a product on a shelf. The moment their yes stopped being your drug, they lost power. The universe loves that. Self-love is its favorite gift. Then there's fear. Everyone is afraid of something. Being hated, being shamed, losing, being alone. The powerful use that. They build rooms, rules, orders based on fear. But you broke their machine. You accepted that being scared was okay. You decided to walk with fear, not wait for it to leave. You took the job you weren't ready for. You shared the work they might laugh at. You made moves while your heart was racing. You didn't beat fear, you just did it, scared to death. That is when fear stopped being a leash and became background noise. Wealth sees that and says, oh, this one is real. Time. You stopped letting people steal it. You used to drop everything for anyone. Now you don't answer right away. You don't say yes without thinking. You don't change your day for someone who wouldn't even wave at you. You aren't mean. You're just no longer free. Your day is a castle. Your focus is a sword. Secrets. You stopped telling your dreams to bored people. You stopped filming every moment like a show. You started keeping your cards hidden. You watch more. You hear more. You let them speak. They show you what they want, their flaws, their habits. You see who lies, who acts like a victim, who never owns their mess, who loves the noise more than the work. You started treating talk like research, not event. Now look at the map. Praise, no longer a chain. Fear, not a leash anymore. Time safe, secrets kept. You aren't the slave. You're the one holding the strings while they think you're just quiet. This is why they're watching. They don't know your mind, they don't know your plan. They can't guess what you'll do. They can't push your buttons because you turned the power off. Mystery pulls people in. You became the plot twist. The world blessed you because you finally stopped bowing to fake gods. The god of being liked, the god of fitting in, the god of safety. You killed your old self on that altar. The pleaser, the talker, the scared version who wanted to be in rooms that weren't even made for you. You buried that version and didn't tell a soul. Now, every room you enter, the air feels different. You dress how you feel, not how they want. You speak slower because you aren't afraid of the gap. You look them in the eye and you don't look away first. You aren't faking. You aren't acting. You're solid, and they feel it. Some hate it, some want it, some bow to it. But they all respect it in the dark, even the ones who talk bad about you because deep down they know you aren't supposed to be here. You weren't supposed to make it. You weren't supposed to win. You weren't supposed to be self-made in a world where they were given everything but still feel poor inside. But you did it anyway, and that scares them in a way money can't fix. So here's what you do next, Master. You stop being shocked that they're following you. You stop asking, why is everyone nice to me? Like it's a fluke. You became rare. Rare things change the room. You stay in your power. That means when they praise you, you say thanks, but you don't melt. When they invite you, you say yes or no for your goal, not your fear. When they try to rush you, you move slow. You don't beat your heart faster for anyone. You keep feeding your future the right way, with hard work. You're going to read when you want to scroll. You're going to build when you want to moan. You're going to sharpen your tools until what you do is so sharp it cuts through every fake room. You're going to remember where you started, not to stay there, but to stay real. Because there is a dark secret about being in control. If you forget who you are, you become a slave to your pride. You start acting like a god. You think you can't be touched. You start using people just to feel big, and then you break from the inside. So, you stay dangerous but not crazy. You know your worth, but you don't need the applause. You let the money, the fame, the friends spin around you like a storm while you stand in the middle, calm. You aren't the storm, you're the center. Quiet, focused, still. That is why they spin. They're looking for something they can't name. You know what it is. You just decided to stop selling it for cheap. So when you walk into those rooms now, head up, chest out, heart steady, and you feel them watching, whispering, shifting, don't hide, don't say sorry, don't play dumb. You worked for this weight. You bled for this peace. You earned this light. Let them watch. Let them guess. Let them talk in circles while you move in a straight line. The world already gave you the crown. You didn't need a party. You didn't need a crowd. You are the win now, and every step you take proves it. Funny thing is, you still don't know how far you've come. You remember that version of you that waited for a call. Refresh, 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 hoping someone important noticed you were alive. You don't do that now. You answer when it works for you. You show up when it fits your path. You talk when you have a message. And people feel that shift in their bones. They're used to people running after them, begging for a look, selling, crying, acting. You walk into the same room, and you don't do that. You aren't cold. You aren't mean. You're just here. You say, hey, like they're a person, not a prize. You listen. Truly listen. Not looking for a chance to brag. You ask smart things. You aren't scared. You're curious. That is when something in them breaks. They're thinking, why isn't this person trying harder? Why aren't they trying to impress me? Why does it feel like I'm the one being tested right now? That is the string wrapping around them. You flipped the script. You used to be scared of rooms like that. Scared of saying a word wrong. Scared of not knowing the news. Scared of looking poor, simple, or wrong. You'd practice fake versions of you in your head, laugh at bad jokes, agree with their lies even when your soul screamed, hid your stories so they felt okay. And after all that acting, you'd leave feeling gross, like you sold a piece of yourself for a fake smile. One day, you just broke. You got tired of trying out for people who couldn't handle your life for an hour. Tired of hiding your scars. Tired of acting like you were lucky to be near people who have everything but peace. You stopped bowing. You walked in and said with your eyes, I am not here to be picked. I am here to see if I like you. They weren't ready for that. Because here is the truth. Most of them never grew a spine. They grew friends. They grew names. They grew bank accounts, not heart. You did. You built a spine in the dark when no one was looking. You built a spine when you couldn't pay rent. You built a spine when you had to act okay while your heart was breaking. You built a spine every time you were hurt. And instead of getting mean, you got smart. That is what they are watching. Not your clothes, not your fans, not your photos. They are watching your inner strength. Try telling them that at a party. They feel it though. You say less, but your words hit harder. You don't talk about the work. Your eyes show you've seen the fire. You don't brag about being real. Your soul already says you can't be bought. The universe comes to that because noise is for the weak, but power is for the quiet. Think back. Before, when you got a little cash, you'd show it off. New shoes, new gear, new posts. You tried to prove you were okay, begging for respect because your shirt had a brand. You weren't spending money, you were spending pain. This version of you treats life differently. You use it, you grow your mind. You find teachers, tools, plans. You study the game, the real game, not the loud noise. You start seeing how power moves, how deals happen, how people use weight. You look for patterns. Who wins, who falls, who always ends up begging, even after a win. You see, it's not a mistake. It's the ones who stay small inside who get kicked around. The ones who never learn to say no. The ones who sell their soul for a seat. You stopped doing that. You didn't just get richer. You became more valuable inside. Not mean, just very, very picky. You answer when it's right. You help without being used. You give when it fits, not when you're being pushed. You still remember when you wished someone would help you. That's why you're kind. You're just not a rug. And that is scary to anyone who thought they could buy you. They're used to opening their wallet and seeing people fold. Suddenly they do that around you and you don't move. They ask you out and you say, "I have work, maybe later." So don't you dare look back. That old scared version of you is buried in the ground. You are the one in charge now. You are the one who decides who gets your time, who gets your energy, and who gets to see your heart. The world is going to keep spinning around you, trying to find a way to get a grip on you again. Let them wonder. Let them try. You don't need a seat at their table anymore because you built your own throne out of the broken pieces of your past. You are the master of your own silence. You are the king of your own peace. Walk out into the world today and don't change for anyone. You didn't just survive the fire, you became the fire. And fire doesn't ask for permission to burn. It just exists. This is your life. These are your rules. The strings are in your hands, and for the first time, you aren't pulling them to make someone else happy. You're pulling them to build your own legacy. Go out there and stay dangerous. Stay real. Stay you. The ceremony is over. Your life has finally begun.